Okay, in the middle of Perik Daled, paragraph V'lachein. So we started with, basically the Tanya was trying to figure out, to explain to us what Tshuva is, and what he explained it was is Loshav, is to Toshav Hashem, Toshav Hey, Toshav Hey, which means to return the Hey. We spoke about the Yud Kei Vav Kei, and the Yud Kei Vav Kei, as we said, is spelled up at different letters, and to return the Hey at the end. We spoke about Tshuva Tatod, Tshuva Ilah a little bit. Now we're going to go a little bit deeper into the Inyan. It is a little bit complicated and technical, but we'll try Be'ez Hashem to do our best and make some sense of what he is saying. Therefore, Nikra Malachim B'Shem Elokim B'Kosov. We find very many times that Malachim in the Psukim are called Elokim. Ukamoshe Kosov, he gives us an example. Ki Hashem Elokechem Elokei Elokim. Right? So there we are, clearly talking about the Malachim. Hodu lelokei ho elokim v'chulei, pasuk in Tehillim. V'yavu b'nei elokim li'siyatsev v'chulei, pasuk in Iyov. Lefi, what's the reason why we call Malachim in a lashon of elokim? Sheyinikas chayusom hi mibchinas chitzonius. That means the Yanika, the source of nourishment, right? In other words, the Malachim, the angels, actually receive their energy from this external energy which flows from the Rabbeinu Shalom. Shehi bechinas ha'oisius levad, which are the bechina of the letters of the divine speech. V'shem Elokim, hu bechinas chitzonius legabe shem havaya baruch hu. Aval. That's all the Malachim. Nishma Sodom, the Neshama B'Heilige Yid, Shehi B'Bechinas Penimius Achayus, which comes from the deep divine energies. A much deeper energy is the Neshama B'Heilige Yid. He Chelek Shem Havaya Baruch Hu, Ki Shem Havaya Yud Kei Vav Kei Not Elokim Moira Al Penimius Achayus Shehi Lemala Mala Mebchinas Ha'Oisius. It's much higher. Comes from the energy much deeper than a place of the actual oisius. Or very Inyan, let's try to explain it. And again, I'm not claiming to be able to explain this, but I'm going to try. Or very Inyan. Kenoida Maime Elio, this is a very famous Zoya Kodesh in Tikunia Zoya. Ant hu the Apekas Eser Tikunim V'Korinon Lahoin Eser Sephiron La'anhoga Bahoin Omin Sesimin. Which basically means, what we're saying is, that you produce the 10 adornments, and these 10 adornments are what we call the Esser Spheros, right? We're all familiar with the 10 spheres. I spoke about the beginning of Chelik Aleph, Sefer Shabeinanim, starts with Chochmah, Bina V'das, and then moves on to Chesed and Gvura, Tiferes, and everything else. So you've got those 10 spheres. Ant Chakim V'loi B'Chochmah Yediyah, Ant Mevin V'loi Mevina Yediyah V'chulei, which means you're wise but not with a known wisdom, you understand but not with a known understanding. By the way, this Zoya, this what we just read, is the Makar for the 10 spheres. Those of you that are familiar with Tova Devorah, but it talks about the 10 spheres, that's the Makar, the Zoya Kodesh of the 10 spheres. V'chol hayud spheres. These 10 spheres, which we know are very much rooted in our emotions with what we do and who we are, apart from the first three, Chachma, Bina, V'das, which are our intellect and our head, the rest is our whole body represented by our left hand, our right hand, left foot, right foot, v'chole, v'chole. We've spoken about it once before, you can look it up online, it's called Healthy Emotions. But Al Kaponim, these 10 spheres, Nichlolois v'nirmozois b'shem havaya baruch hu, are actually being merames, they're hinted in the letters, and not only the letters of Hashem's name, but the shapes of the letters as well. The shapes have tremendous meaning. I spent a long time learning Sefer Oisius of Aleph Beis. I remember when I was learning it, Be'ins, people said to me, so what are you learning now? What are you holding? I'm holding by the Aleph Beis. I was learning the Oisius, Aleph Beis. You look at Aleph Beis Yosef, you learn it in the Svar Gedosh, I was to learn the Ramot Friedlander, who was a big Boki in Safras, and he taught me the Oisius. And the Oisius have tremendous Kabbalistic ideas of so many things. That's what the Tanya is telling us. The Yud Kei Vav Kei of Hashem's name is the remez of the 10 spheres in the letters and in the shapes of the letters. Ki. Explain a little bit. Ki Yud, she bechinas nekuda levad. Right? Yud is basically a nekuda. It's a dot. Meramezes lechochmosa yisbar. That's a remez to Hashem's chochma. She bechinas helem. That means Chochmah is, what is Chochmah? There's Chochma, there's Bina, there's Das. Chochma is that first flash of inspiration. It doesn't go anywhere, it doesn't do anything, it's not developed, it's not fully understood, it's not deep. But it's a little bit of a moment of like the initial thought. That's what that Yud is. That Yud is a little dot. It's that flash of inspiration. That's Chochma, okay? And then he goes on, the Yud is the little, the crown on top, the little piece that goes up on the top of the Yud, is Roimas the Bechinas Rotzon the Elyon Baruch Hu Shemana Mala Memadregas Bechinas Chochma Eloka Noida. That's even higher. Va'acha Shabala Bechinas Ispashtus V'gira Saga Va'avona La Olmin Stimim Nichleles V'nirmezes Ba'ois Hey. Because the Bina, which is after Chachma, Bina means the Chachma is the flash of inspiration. Bina is then the development of that thought. That's the once you have that inspiration, you can now clarify it, and that is represented specifically by the Hay. That's remembered by the Hay, because it has that little bit more of a space. It means it's taken the idea and it's gone further with it. It's done more with it. Where am I? That means the Hay has taken and schlepped this Yud, which is the Nakuda, where it's the dot, and it schlepped it one way, it schlepped it the other way, both height and width. Now that we've gone more to the world of revelation, just like if a person wants to reveal his wisdom to others, how does he do that? By talking. When you speak, you can be megala, right? We were going to go to the Yenuka. How did anyone know about the Yenuka? Because he started speaking. When he started speaking, he called out to Rekum and coming out of his mouth. You're like, whoa. So he was megala his chokhmah to other people, alidei dibura, right? Vov. By the way, if you notice what we've done the Yud, we've done the Hey, now we've got the Vov, by the way. Right, so that's by the Vov. It goes up and down. The Gamam Shachazuhi Alidei Midas Chazdoi V'Tuva Yisham Midois of Kedoshim Hakadoshos Hanichlodos B'Dei Klal B'Mispah Sheish B'Posek L'Cha Hashem Agdula. 6 of them. Ad L'Cha Hashem Hamablecha. That's Malchus. Basically, he's skipped a couple of stages, but the idea is that every single one represents one, especially the Yud Kei Vav Kei specifically. The letters and the shapes of the letters represent the 10 spheres. V'loy ad b'chal. Ki midas malchusa yisparach nikos b'shem dvar Hashem. Right, and then and the Malchus is represented by the final Hey, Yud Kei Vav. Now we've got the Hey at the end as well, and that's hinted to. That's the Malchus, which is the end and the final thing. That's included. The last Hey in Yud Kei Vav Kei. Ki pnimius u'makora dibuhu. Right. In other words, what we're saying over here, the makor, the source of all speech. Hu hahevel ha'olam min halev. It's actually the hevel, the breath that comes from the heart. Umischalek lehei moitzos hapeh, and that's divided into the 5 organs of speech, which are throat, palate, tongue, and lips, and the teeth. Aleph, ches, hey, ayin. These are the letters, by the way, that are produced by the throat. Aleph, ches, hey, ayin. Mahagoroin v'chulei. Vegan. Also, Havoras Ha-Hey, he bechinas Hevel Levad. But the letter Hey, you don't use anything. You don't use any of those. Hey just comes out, right? It's only used with breath alone. Right? Also, kalila delesle mashasha. There's no mamashas to it whatsoever. So the letter Hey is produced only from the breath, and that what we're saying is the direct expression and the source of speech inside the body, which is why the Hey is malchus. Even though Avada, when we describe these terms, we're like Ki'ilu describing Hashem's physical being, it doesn't make any sense. HaKadosh Baruch Hu's got no physical being. Torah talks in the way that we normally can understand. Shagam Dvar Hashem Chav Beis Oisos Mischalakois LeHei Chalkei Motzayos. The 22 letters of the Aleph Beis are split up into the 5 organs of articulation of how we articulate, how we speak. Obahem Nivra Kol Yitzur, and everything else is created after that. Ukacha Mamash Al Derech Moshel Hamavdol Havdolas LeEin Kes Nishmas Adam. And this Derech Moshel is the difference, which is like major, like light years away, the Neshama of Yid. Shehi bechinas nefesh elikis, that's the nefesh elikis, de mitoichei nofach. We said this many times, that the Rebbeinu Shalom blew from himself into us, and into us he blew the nefesh elikis. Yesh ba, in the nefesh elikis, has in it, bechinas seichel, hanelam hamumas ba'os yud. Okay, has a tremendous seichel which is hidden and hinted in the letter yud. Shebekoicha lotzes el hagilo lehoven lahaske ba'mitosai yisbar b'dulosai kol chan v'chan avum shiur delay lefi rocha v'seichel v'nosai. Each person, according to his understanding, according to his level of understanding and comprehension and intellectual powers, has the ability to be, to understand in some way the Rebbeinu Shalom. According to a person's depth, if he's got more depth, or Marchev Daiton, he's got a wider das, or if he's got much more of that, then Azai Murumezes Binose Ba'ois Hey, Sheyeshla Roichav. Right, it's represented by a very wide letter, and that's of course the letter Hey, because Hey is an expansion of our das and our understanding. V'gam Oirech Hamoyalam Shocha Milamala as well. The height of the Hey also signifies the application of what's going on and the idea that was given. Lamata down, Lahoilid Binosoi Visbonanusa Begadlas Hashem, Ava V'yiru Til Desayhem, which means that through a person thinking. And that's what a person has to do. That's the Balatanya is very into that. That's why the whole idea was of Chabad was Chochmah Bin Avdas. Think, use intellectual powers. When you think about the Gadus of Hashem, it produces Ava V'yira of Hashem, right? The love of Hashem and the awe of Hashem. B'moicha in your brain. V'salumos libo v'achar kach. And after that, the Bechinas is Gadus libo. Umizeh nimshcha avoida mitzvahs be'esek HaTorah mitzvahs. And through that can give a person real Asik and Torah, and of course in the mitzvahs, but koil, the dibu, oimaisa, those three garments of the soul. Hein oises vov, hey, as we have said over here. V'chulei. V'gam is bonus lahaven lahask b'mito v'gudlosoi yismar nimshka gam keim ha'Torah. That of course you can learn that from the Torah. Doiraisa mechochma nofka, because of course everything comes from the Torah. He bechinas yud shel shem havaya v'chulei. So at the end of the day, the yud after the hey is showing that a person thought about it, is returning the hey. So a little bit of a complication, a little bit of a more of a deep idea, this one over here in Perek Dalet. But the basic idea is tshuva is contemplation of where you're meant to be, the godless of Hashem. And when you do that and you contemplate, then Be'ez Hashem, you'll be able to take that hey, bring it back. That's tshuva. So you've got a full picture. Be'ez Hashem. Tomorrow, B'siyat Shemaya, will start Perek Hey.